Who is actually paying you when you work DoorDash and Uber and any of these apps? The consumer, or is the money coming from DoorDash? Well, technically it's coming from DoorDash because they're collecting it. But in today's video, I'm going to unlock some truths because DoorDash ain't paying you nothing. Welcome back to Mr.BetonYou. This video is not going to be some no tip, no trip stuff. I've talked about that. It's not going to be belittling or demeaning consumers in that type of way. But I'm going to share with you guys some clips and some photos, screenshots, and I went to go order from two different types of places today with delivery fees, no delivery fees, a shop and pay, a restaurant delivery. And we're going to break them down a little bit. And we're going to talk about how the consumer's paying on most orders, not all, everything that you make. DoorDash is collecting all the money from the consumer and deciding how much of it you're going to get based on some factors. Let's talk about it. But first, I want you guys to tell me, do you guys order on these delivery apps, and what do you think about the pricing? I'm going to put in a screenshot of our video here first. One breakfast sandwich. This is how much it was going to be. For one sandwich, not a meal. Now, these apps are based off convenience. I get it. I appreciate all the consumers that place orders. That's how we make a living. But that's a ridiculous amount of money for a sandwich. The fees, the inflated prices, the regulatory fee, service fee, delivery fee, whatever you want to call it. And when we see delivery fee, unless that consumer's hitting that little icon, they think we're getting some of that. But we are. That's the thing. So they're right. We are getting some of that. So DoorDash might charge $3, $4.50, whatever, right? And some kind of fee. But DoorDash is also telling the consumer that, well, some of that fee goes to us for running the app. The service fee. The delivery fee is based off of mileage, how long it might take the delivery driver, things like that. The tip amount that they suggest is for those factors as well, time and distance, right? But everything that we're getting paid in most cases, because there are times when a consumer Dasher might drop an order, or there's peak pay because the demand's high, so they're going to take a hit on some orders, But DoorDash is making the percentage off the merchant, 15 to 30%, which is fine. I'm fine with it. They're running a business. They're doing the marketing. They're running a business. Charge what you want. It is what it is. Then they're getting the service fee, $3 to $4.50, whatever. Sometimes up to $8 on the shop and pays when a consumer orders. And then they're deciding how much of that we're going to get. Now, the base pay is as low as $2 in some markets, right? And then if the customer doesn't leave a tip, that's what it's going to be at. And it might go up based on if it got denied or whatever. But the consumer's paying you everything in most cases. DoorDash ain't paying you anything most of the time. On an average order, DoorDash is paying you $0. They're collecting the fees, deciding how much you're going to get, and then they're going to keep the rest. And sometimes it works in their favor, sometimes it doesn't. It is what it is. I'm fine with them doing it, but that's the truth. The consumer's paying everything. So when consumers are miserable and they do this, because this is where I'm going to get on them a little bit, but I'm going to give them some love in a second. When they see, because DoorDash tells them, this is going to your Dasher, they get 100% of the tips. When they still type 0.00, they suck. They're unintelligent, uninformed, or unkind. One of those three things. Unintelligent means they're ignorant. Unkind means they're unkind, or they're uninformed. The app is telling them for the most part. But I do think some consumers think that delivery fee, well, it is going to us. We always say it doesn't go to us. It does. They pay us the base pay. You guys following what I'm throwing at you? Are you catching it? You're picking it up? Did you drop it? Are you good? Are we in the end zone? Did we get a touchdown yet? The consumer's paying us most of the time. I want to be clear. All of our money. It's coming from DoorDash only because they're collecting it. They are the middleman in the equation. They're saying, thank you, Pedro, for your order. You want your breakfast sandwich? I'll take your money. Thank you, Cafe. I'll take that money. And then here, Dasher, here's your base pay. And if there's a tip, there's a tip. If there isn't, there isn't. But the consumer's paying you everything. So why do I bring that up? Listen. We give the consumers a hard time. And the ones that type 0 in, the ones that don't give us good instructions, the ones that are doing too much, they suck. We shouldn't even be dealing with them. I've been saying on this channel for a long time, and I stand by that. We should not take these $2 and $3 orders. $6 going 20 miles, never. There's not a scenario where you should take it because it's not going to end in your favor. Well, most of the time. And if you think consumers are tipping cash, it's not often, so stop gambling with your earnings. Okay? Stop it. Don't take it. Don't enable. That still stands. Because we need to be declining and giving our time to the consumers that appreciate us, value us, and that are going to give us good instructions and be a good delivery. And they're not going to say they didn't get their food. They're not going to play games. They're not going to, because the consumers that usually don't tip do that stuff as well. But even the consumers that don't tip you, they're still paying you because they paid a service fee, a delivery fee, and that is the base pay. So even when you get an order that's $7, $8, $9 and it's all base pay, I've gotten some of those. So have you. The consumer paid for that. They still paid you. They didn't tip you. Let me repeat that. They still paid you because they gave money to DoorDash and Uber and Instacart, but they did not tip you. There's a difference. And some consumers know, all right, I'm going to pay this fee because it's part of doing business and it is what it is. I got to pay. It is what it is. But then I'm also going to tip because I understand that that's how these guys make money. But some consumers think we're making more based on a fee or based on whatever. They don't understand that the base pay is so low. $1 and change on Uber Eats and as low as $2 with DoorDash. $1 and change with Uber Eats. And some of those orders, the service fee the consumer's paying $7, $8, $9, right? And if you're on DoorDash and you have Dash Pass as a consumer and there's a $0 delivery fee, you're still paying a monthly thing. So DoorDash is still collecting that monthly fee, looking at that money and dispensing it out. This video isn't about shaming DoorDash or about shaming consumers. It is what it is. These are just facts. Customers are paying you most of the time on an average order. I don't know what the percentage is. Is it 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10? You guys tell me what you think, your best guess. Most deliveries, consumer, all the money you get on that order is coming from the customer. All of it. Whether they tipped or they didn't tip. And if they tipped, they're obviously paying you more. And if they didn't tip, they're just paying you less. But they're still paying you because the company's getting the money from them. The company on most times, unless there's a crazy peak pay or some quest or some bonuses, but that's not often. We're talking regular days here. DoorDash isn't coming out of their pocket to pay you. Not on those transactions. Now, what they do with marketing, what they do with spending, that's on them. That's not for us to know. Not my business. The consumer is paying you 100% of your earnings. So when you made that $1,000 that week, that came from everybody that you delivered food to. None of that came from DoorDash. DoorDash had to get it from the customer first before they give it to you. It still comes from the customer. If there's 3 people in the line, if there's 2 people in front of me, okay, and DoorDash is in front of me first, and then in front of DoorDash is the person handed DoorDash $10. DoorDash turned around and handed me $10 to do something for the person in front of DoorDash. DoorDash did nothing. All they did was in the back end and before, and they've done the work and they'll continue to do work. But that $10, just because DoorDash handed it to me, didn't mean it came from DoorDash. You follow? It came from the person in front of them. So then I should thank the other person. There's no problem with thanking DoorDash. It's an opportunity. But the person in front of DoorDash, that's where the $10 came from. DoorDash is the middleman. Or are we the middleman? I don't know. These are facts. I'm going to stand by that. Some of you will disagree, and you're going to come up with some great points. Put them in the comments. I want to read them. I don't know everything, but numbers are numbers and math don't lie. Most of the deliveries, all the money is coming from the consumer, if they tip or don't tip. Now, I do want to end it by saying this. We need to start, listen, I know we have these programs. I've delivered to non-tippers before because you get fooled sometimes, or you're doing earn by time. There are things. Maybe there's a stack order. I gave a scenario in a short where would you do this, a $3 order or $2 order going to the next apartment building over, or the next apartment where you're already going to go, because there was a good order. I still don't think we should take those. Now, if you take them, that's okay. You're making an extra couple bucks, and there's valid points there. I don't want to enable that guy or girl thinking that not tipping is okay in 2023. I do not want to enable that. And most consumers say, I'll tip after. Bullshit. Don't believe you. Doesn't happen often enough. It just doesn't. Not too many people have tried that out, and we've seen it unfold. And that's why when you get a cash tip, it's such a anomaly, and you're so excited because it does not happen often. It doesn't. It happens. It doesn't happen often enough for us to, you know what, I'm going to spend an extra 15 minutes and wait for that order and drive or whatever for $2 or $3, and I'm going to pray to the gig app gods that I'll get an extra couple bucks. We can't do that. We cannot do that. And consumers out there that do tip, thank you very much for being kind, considerate. For the ones that don't, maybe you've had bad experiences. Not all drivers, most drivers aren't bad. Don't continue to not tip just because you had 1 or 2 bad experiences. Or if you do, save your money. Don't spend $20-something on a breakfast sandwich and go get it yourself. And if you can't get it yourself, have somebody else get it. We should not be putting ourselves at risk for pennies and dollars. Drivers out there, if you're new and you're watching this, don't take the crap orders. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. But also realize all the money's coming from the consumer. All of it. 100%. That's all I got today. I'm going to have an interesting live on Sunday. I got a unique video for you guys tomorrow that I think you guys will really enjoy. Today's been a rough day. I'm not going to lie. Today's been a rough day. Not with the gig apps, with just stuff. It's been a rough day. And that's all I'll say. But Mr.BetonYou always will bounce back. You guys tell me what you think down below. Consumers, if you're watching this and you're probably not, let me know what you think about your experience and what you think about what you're paying and how it's being filtered and all these crazy fees and how you're really paying you're paying all of it. All the labor, you're paying 100% of what we make most of the time. See you guys tomorrow.